Ah. Oh, you can see my my garbage. Let's get that off screen. Let's boot up my secondary phone. I say secondary. This was actually my primary phone a long time ago. And then it was someone else's primary phone shortly after that. And now it's my secondary phone again. It's actually really good. It's got a really nice screen. It's I don't know what it is, but it's a slightly nicer screen than my Sony. Definitely. We could look up the specs and compare. It's not even that much smaller. It's like the same width almost, and it's like a centimeter shorter and half a centimeter slimmer. So it's not even that like the Sony Xperia XZ Premium feels like a huge phone compared to this. This is a very manageable phone. It's palm size. It's very thin as well. The Pixel. No, it's not a Pixel. Nexus 5. CPP primer. Nexus 5 is a very nice phone. In fact, big caveat. Big huge caveat. Sorry. Boom sound. Big caveat for the Sony is it's in a case, which adds some width and some thickness. And without the case, it as well is a very comfortable phone to use, in my opinion. But slam. But it's very slippery. It's very impractical to use without a case on it. See ya. Maybe I can get some vibratory isolators for the boom. Maybe that way on-stream slams will stop happening. Did we didn't compile or run this code, did we? So I have no idea if it actually works or not. Oh. Stupid phone. Stupid. It's really weird. In the app, it doesn't tell me the date people followed the channel. Only the time. She's useless. Useless to me. Useless information. And my volume is up, so that's bad. There we go. Volume is down. Speak. Should stop doing that, really. There's a warning on my speakers saying don't put these too close to monitors, because if you turn them off, there's something in them. It's probably a coil, not the speaker coil, but the you know what, Blue Microphone? Have some. You just gonna get stuck back down again, or? Beautiful. Absolutely I'm probably just gonna take that sticker off sometime. It's a nice sticker. It's actually a foil. It's not a plastic. It's a very thin strip of aluminium, I believe, with an adhesive backing. But it's come unstuck. And when I say extremely thin, I mean, whew, mama. Maybe it is plastic. Maybe it is vapor deposited. Plasma vapor deposited aluminium on plastic. Who knows? But it's it definitely has that. It's gonna cut your finger open metal kind of foil film slam. Cool. Well, it compiles that any errors and it runs, which is a shock to me. I thought it was going to throw a hissy fit about having no data to read, no data to write. But that's cool. It didn't. I guess there's nothing checking if it has data to read. It just reads data, and if there's no data, it just reads nulls, right? I have got to take that teapot away from this space. I've got to fucking wash that teapot. Jesus Christ. That's not cool. That is not cool. I'm getting distracted. And the glorious thing about the Nexus is I can hold it as close to the mic as possible, as I even dare, because it has no Wi-Fi and it has no 4G, no SIM card. Absolutely fantastic. Although, if anyone's watching, it feels like splashing out someone they don't even know, or maybe they do know. Looking for a Kindle Paperwhite. Is it Series 7 or Series 11 or something? The waterproof Kindle Paperwhite with backlight. I do not want Kindle Fire HD. Kindle Fire HD that I have decided it doesn't want to work anymore. But at the same time, actually, e-reader, it says it's only got a 6-inch screen. My Sony's only got a 6-inch screen. It's tiny. But I don't know, man. Maybe I don't want an e-reader. Maybe the Nexus is gonna do fine. I just feel like I want something that's more like paper to read off, because backlights suck. In fact, you know what? If there's an e-reader that does like Acrobat readers, EPUBs, or Mobies, like a flexible one that isn't just tied down to Kindle proprietary formats, that I wouldn't have to like jailbreak or hack or root or something to get to read files that aren't loaded from my Amazon account, let me know. Because I did some Googling previously, and it's like, oh yeah, all the e-readers that aren't Kindles are garbage, and the Kindle is like, or the Kindle and the Nook and the Kobo are all proprietary what do you call it, DRM locks. I think one of them you can read your own files, and I think the Kindles you can abuse a little bit. I mean, the Kindle Fire HD only runs on Android, so theoretically you could just root it and you just have an Android tablet. But it's only theoretical, and it probably doesn't work that way in practice, does it? Oh. Have I skipped here? I've skipped here, I think. Oh, I feel like no. Container price. One thing that really, I don't want to get distracted on huge tangents. Just sat here talking at a grey screen again. I want to do some codey code, but something that really annoys me is when the textbook gets too wrapped into the specifics of its demonstration program. I know last time I said I got annoyed when the demonstration program wasn't accurate to what it was meant to be doing in practice, but like the two things go hand in hand. It's like you've got to have a congruency. Your example has to work and be viable, but you can't get wrapped into it. Like you can't, you just, it's just unnecessary data being funneled into your face, and it's sometimes hard to ignore. Also, the bottom end of my Nexus is yellow. I don't know why. It's only very slightly yellow, but it's like the backlight's given up or something. Again, it's an old phone, so maybe it has just given up. Can you even take the back off this? Do you need a heat gun? I can see a seam. It looks like you just prized it off the USB port. Very unwaterproof design. Says here, read the second transaction. Says here data 2. All right, yeah. I think I may have skipped something in an earlier chapter about reading files from the command line, or running an exe file with an argument of a secondary file to read as input. I do wish that is something I do wish for, that if books like this shouldn't spare space, and they should, if you've traveled like a chapter further away from where you read the explanation originally, you should maybe probably write just a brief, here's a refresher, dude. Because in a book, in a physical, paper book thing that you can flip through, maybe you can put a post-it on it, it's fine. But on a tiny screen, on an Acrobat reader, even a big one like a Kindle, maybe I'm just not using the functions correctly, but you'd have like a bookmark for everything, and then it's just a horrible, you've got to keep referencing different bookmarks and flicking through the thing and remembering what page you're on. It's a pain. If you compare the book number members, data 1, data 2, if those members are the same ISBN, we execute the code inside the curly braces. That code adds the components of our two variables because we'll need to print the average price. What the fuck? I've written a slightly different program to them because that program didn't really make any sense. But yeah. That's right. My program does the opposite to theirs. So if the UPCs are the same, and the U is a clue there, but the prices are different, which they can't be because they're a UPC. It gives you an error code. I should really actually, break error, or error to return error at the end of that statement, but whatever. else standard cout, your total comes to data 2 plus data 1. If your UPCs are different for your two things, it adds them together. But even this is slightly too high level for a till position kind of thing. What it would actually do is you would get basically a code. You would get the UPC, and the UPC would make a fetch request from a do you call it a table? A table? Sure, why not? A table. A list of things. It would go through a manifest. There you go. It would go through your manifest of products, and it would find that UPC, and then it would put that into the thing, and then you'd have basically an instanced. You'd have a list. You'd have an instance of UPCs. You probably wouldn't hide the UPCs. Actually, they're very handy for using in shops. Then you'd have a product name or description, and then you'd have a price. Some people would write it so that if you scanned one in, you'd have an extra column for like a quantity, or there'd be a function on the till so you could type a quantity and then scan one, and you would have stuff in. But yeah, this is just data manipulation basically, and sometimes I feel like the examples that they're coming up with behind the data manipulation exercises is too much. Why would you go to all the effort to think about this stuff when it's one, not really that relevant, and two, you're writing a weird program which doesn't actually do anything in the real world. It's silly. Anyway, we're moving on to 2.6.3, writing our own header files. We've got a header file here, which defines the sales data struct, which is a variable structure, a struct variable, which it has a string, a quantity, an unsigned int, and two floating point variables, which is great. Just so everyone's on the old just you know, so I can be happy in this. A real system would probably have something like what have I done? Struct product data. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you'd have it'd be an int, maybe a long. Oh yeah, UPID, that's even better. It's not what they're called, but UPID. Whoa. You'd have std, a standard string, let's do it like this. Actually, no. We can have these the same, right? We can have these the same. Yes, because they're different structs. Oh, the structs have to be different, yeah. But the things inside the struct. Correct? Correct. Because you can only access the struct's data members through the struct itself, and the struct variable will be, you know, whatever. Anyway, So you'd have the UPC, obviously, and that would be basically the determining factor. Or in fact, beyond this, you could replicate the UPC, yes, maybe. Or beyond this, you could have, in fact, each variable be the UPC. And then you'd only need the product name and the price in the system. Although it's always nice to have, you know, the UPC. Error checking, you might do something wrong. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. But let me just. They're usually 16 UPCs are usually 16 digits because it's a barcode scanner which scans binary data, and they usually have an opening byte, a closing byte or two. Maybe I've shot myself in the foot here by saying that it's usually 16 digits because it's usually 16 digits, two lots of 8, 1 and then 7 and then 7 and then 1. But actually I don't think it is, because I think a lot of codes, a lot of places are actually 13 digits long, but the opening character and the closing character are both one byte. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And in fact, if it's 32-bit thingamajigga, thank you. Scientific calculator now with Windows by default. Not by default, you have to select it. Yeah, but it's easy enough to get to. It's easy enough to get to, and I like it. It's a really good function. In fact, you can full screen it. Dude. Check that out. That is amazing. Really helpful. The guy or girl or dog or cat or fucking alien who works at Windows, Microsoft, whatever company makes this software, whoever made this software, absolute mad lad. Genius, 100%. You get extra cake at the party, dude. You get extra day off, holiday, paid holiday pay. You get one extra paid holiday day off every year. Because this is helpful. Android, you gotta download extra shit to get scientific calculator. And I would recommend C++ calculator on the Android market. Very good, very reliable. I'd be using it now if I wasn't using both of my phones. Anyway, so an int can hold 2 to the 32 or 2 to the 8. Oh, hey, look, there's a barcode right here. That's not a product barcode, though. That's a different kind of barcode. How long is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then it has... It looks like those numbers line up with where they are on the barcode, I think. Obviously a 0 would be, so the digits, so you'd only need 16 bits to hold them. You couldn't do it on 8 bits because there's 10 digits, 0 through 9. Right? That's how it works, right? Or has my brain gone banana? We're taking a tangent, gentle friends. Let me just open up the old Firefox now and drag that off screen so you can't see what I was watching on YouTube. It was 2 clicks violent. And then it's I think these are, let's type in binary digits, see what comes up. Here we go. No, I don't want the digits of binary. I want digits in binary. Binary numbers is no. Yeah? No. Yes. There's two to the number of positions. 2 to the number of positions combinations, right? In binary, so the number of positions that you have dictates how many different variables there are. We need 10, so you can do that on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can do that on 4 bits. So you can represent, in fact, you've got an extra bit which will never activate unless it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 7, and then 8, 9, 10. Cool. So 4 bits. Remember this. 4 bits per digit. And how many digits did we say there were? 3, 4, 6, 12, 18 digits. I'm going to work this out, right? No, not 218. No, what the? 72 little lines or spaces. And this is where brain happens. And instead of counting the number of lines, I'm going to measure the width of the smallest line, which is 1/4 of a millimeter. Thank you. Is it 1/4 of a millimeter? It's not. It is. Wait, what? So in 1/2 a millimeter, we got 3. Doesn't seem right. I need a magnifying glass. Why am I doing this? This is one of the things I worry about all the time, apparently. Where's my ruler? Ah! Why do you people watch this stream? Do I have battery? Yes, I have battery left in my Magno lens. Which means I can actually probably see this when I get real close. So obviously the barcode can't start with a 0, otherwise your barcode scanner would not be able to determine where it started, as it would be the same color as the paper, if you understand where I'm going with that. So the first character of the barcode has to be, please contain yourself. It's actually really hard to see. Okay. In a 1/2 millimeter you can fit 2. Okay. So they are 1/4 millimeter smallest. The barcode is 1, 2, 3.55 millimeters long. Turn off. 3.55. How can it be 3.55? That doesn't seem to make any sense. Surely it would be a multiple of 1/4 millimeter. Oh, it's 35.5. I'm an idiot. So So it's 35.5 divided by 0.25. So we got 142 divisions. Uh, 18 times 4. 72. Oh. So that's interesting. Oh, that's not interesting. That's not 144. That's 142. So either I've done some maths wrong, or there's a massive overhead in this. Actually, because I'm curious, I'm going to stop feedback in my stream, because it seems okay. It seems fine. Whip out the old QR droid. QR droid, by the way, guys. Good tool for making and scanning. What the fuck is it? There it is. Making and scanning barcodes. And QR codes. Scan. So it's not. It is unwillful to scan here. That is not to say that all barcodes run on the same protocol. They might not. It's not scanning my barcode. It just is not scanning it. It's not having it. It's not. Oh, there it is. No, I just want to see what the barcode says. So, okay. The barcode that I've scanned has the barcode underneath it, luckily, which I'm not going to read out for reasons. Yes. I think the protocol might be just a single bit at the start, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bits. Yeah, that's stupid. That doesn't seem to make any sense. But the QR droid is actually not scanned the barcode correctly. It's come up with a completely different number. So yeah. So that's another thing to think about when programming something with UPCs and therefore barcodes, ISBNs. ISBN. That's what we were looking for. That is another thing. Yes, of course. I've gone completely off the rails on this. I'm going to save this. Do I have to compile header files? I don't think so. Yeah, it finished without even doing anything. Anyway. We can define a class inside a function. Probably shouldn't do that. While we define a class outside a function, there may be one definition of a class in any given source file. In addition, if you use a class have different files, class's definition must be the same in each file. Yeah, well, we've done that already. Here we go. This is what we were moving on to. A brief introduction to the preprocessor. Most common technique for making it safe to include a header. A header multiple times relies on the preprocessor. The preprocessor, which C++ inherits from C, is a program that runs before the compiler and changes the source text of our programs. Our programs already rely on one preprocessor facility, sharp include. When the processor sees a sharp include, it replaces the sharp include with the contents of the specified header. You know what? You can write all of your programs in one sheet. So this sharp include sales data.h is just paste this there. That's so cool. I knew, but the fact that it is now categorically relayed to me in confirmating knowledge beams, Jesus Christ, is yes, great. I've stopped viewing. Let's see what this guy wants. This guy wants something. I see. Yeah, it's good. It confirms my fears and affirms my previous knowledge of the sea. Because obviously it does, right? I mean, I won't lie. Before now, I was like, how does it do it? But now it's just, yeah, just pastes the text in. It's cool. C++ programs also use the preprocessor to define header guards. Okay, what are they? Preprocessor variables have one or two possible states, defined or not defined. Okay, sharp define directive takes a name and defines that name as a preprocessor variable. Okay. If def is true, if ndef. Did I? Sharp includes strings up here, but it should really be in here. Thank you, phone. Thank you, phone. Keeping me safe from myself. Oh, good news. I've recovered my Ubisoft account. Please don't log into it anymore. So, all right, okay. So you can use ifdef or ifndef to only define things one time. Is that the same as the header file sharp pragma once? No. Okay. Chapter summary. Types are fundamental to all programming in C++. This is going to be the shortest fucking stream ever if I just end it here. Jesus. Each type defines the storage requirements and the operations that may be performed, blah, blah, blah. Int char, const, types can be non-const or const. Const object must be initialized, and once initialized cannot be changed. Define terms, skip. Literal. It has it written there. Let me just read this out because values such as a number, a character, or a string of characters, the value cannot be changed. Literal characters are enclosed in single quotes, literal strings in double quotes. Okay. The value can't be changed of a literal. You can't change the value of a literal. What? Really? I thought a literal was a variable of which its type and contents are what do you call it? Not possible, readable. Intrinsic to the data that they have. They're not like a boolean, where where their value or their worth to the program, their state is conditional or context sensitive, like a literal, it's a string, right? And a string is the letters you see before you, literally, but there it says it can't be changed, so okay. Oh yay, C++ defines a rich library of abstract data types. And the most importantly are string and vector. Okay, vector yes. Vector yes. Oh, no. Oh! Vector yes! It's defines variable size collections. Wait, what? Oh! Right, yeah. So, as you may have understood previously, in C, an array is a table of fixed length. You have to set the length of the array when you initialize the array. So you can't. It's not just a repository for all the crap that you want to hide away in a data vault. No. It's a very specific variable. You can set the size on initialization to a parameter, but you must set the size, and the size cannot be changed. The order of the objects inside the array can be changed, and the objects can be added and removed from the array at will. And you can, your stuff can be stuff. Let me just get rid of this Firefox window because it's annoying me. But it says here that string and vector, excuse me. Yes, it's all coming back to me like a flood of horrible memories and emotions. Ugh. String and vector are variable length, stretchable, increasable, decreasable, dynamic memory. Yep. Cool. And here we go. Companion types, known as iterators. So what it is it's a variable of a thing of a variable. It's a variable of a variable. It's a pointer. A string is a character pointer, and it points to a character, and that character points to the next character, and so on and so forth. So each of the member variables in the string are actually characters, but they're characters which have a pointer to the next character in the sequence. So they can iterate by accessing the memory address associated with the next and the previous items, which makes them obviously more powerful for dynamic stuff. Like you can change the string contents at will. You could reduce it, you can increase it. Fine. However, they are slower to search through because they are iterative, and they have to pass each member, right? To get from one member to the other, it has to access the data, the data held within each member to find the next member, right? So they're slower than arrays, because an array you can just go array there, brings you the thing. If you want to get the same thing in a string using the same kind of thing, it has to go from the first character and then has to step along to the place. And it's obviously, modern computing makes that indistinguishable from each other, obviously. But if you have maybe a 4 billion character long string and a 4 billion character long array, the array is going to be faster, right? Right. Confirm that for me, please. Just anyone in chat, just say yes. Cool. Built-in types that we covered in chapter 2 define directly about a C++ language. This chapter will... Yeah, no, we read that already. Before beginning our exploration of the library types, we'll look at a mechanism for simplifying access to names defined in the library. Okay. Up to now, our programs have explicitly indicated that each library name we use is in the standard namespace. Cool. This is how we're gonna... Standard cin says that we want to use the name cin from the namespace standard. Yeah, good. Using a declaration lets us use a name from a namespace without qualifying the name with a namespace name prefix. A separate using declaration is required for each name. So standard C in, standard C out are two names, or C and C out are two names of the standard namespace. So you would have to, you know what? Let's do that right here. It's using. Is sharp using? No, it is not sharp using. It is just regular using. I didn't spell anything, don't worry. And then and that shouldn't throw up any errors. It doesn't do anything as a program, but it doesn't throw up any errors, and that's fine. That's great. And we've learned how to use a namespace. Excellent. Got my coffee. It's strong coffee too. I'm going to be bouncing off the walls at the end of this stream. I can tell you. Each using declaration introduces a single namespace member. Good. Behavior lets us be specific about what names we use in good. Oh look, the example is rewriting this program, but using the namespace standard. Wow. I want to. Was there an endl? I didn't use an endl in mine, did I? Probably should have done though. So now, if it does print anything, it flushes the output buffer. Good. Good programmer. Yes, you did it. You used the brain. Coded site headers ordinarily should not use using declarations. Yeah. Whatever. Library string tab. We don't have any strings there, but string is a variable length sequence of characters. To use the string type, we must include the string header because it is part of the library. String is defined in the standard namespace. Good. Cool. You can write string. What was that noise? Did you hear that? Whatever. You can initialize a string with a number and a character. I'm guessing a sequence of numbers and characters, which could be procedurally generated, like a key. So that's cool. I don't know. I didn't know you could do that. I knew you could do the other ones. You can have an empty string. You can copy an empty string. You can put string data. You can put string literal data into a string. Good. Oh, hello. S3 is a copy of the string literal, not including the null. Oh, if it's in brackets. Oh, no. No, it's the same thing. So it doesn't need it doesn't need an assignment operator if it's in brackets for some reason. I don't like that, so I'm never going to use that. I'm sorry. I'll take that in as knowledge, but I will not use that. That is disgusting, and I hate it. We're in the C realm, and we need assignment operators. I need assignment operators. Very cool. You know. Oh. Right, okay. Okay, so if you do not use the assignment operator, rather use brackets ahead of the string assignment, it's a direct assignment, and it puts the data that you put into it instead of a copy assignment. And if you want to use a multiple character, assignment method, like in S4 in the book, or S7, you have to use the direct initialization. But if you want to use the copy initialization, you can have an undefined variable string, and then you can initialize a not. What the fuck is going on here? So there's no variable being initialized, but you are making a string from direct initialization method. You write in string, and then you got some brackets. Creates a temporary variable, yeah. A temporary unnamed variable string. That's stupid. When are you ever gonna do that? What's the difference between direct initialization and copy initialization anyway? That's important stuff that needs to be written down there. You've mentioned these things, you've said this is this and this is this, and that's how we do, but you haven't told us why or what they do different from each other. Operations on strings. We can do value operators, and we can add them together. List of common string operators. Cool. So there's some cool operations you can do with strings. Maybe I should have like a No, no, there's too much C++ operations to put in like a noteboard somewhere. It'd be cool. Maybe. Whiteboard? Whiteboard? Maybe we can just write it down on a notepad. Does anyone else have like a weird disconnect between like digital media and remembering things? Like if I type something, I don't remember what the fuck I typed. But if I write something by hand, it kind of sticks a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying I didn't physically type it. I physically typed it, but you know, there's a looser kind of connection between a keyboard and my fingers and my brain than there is between a pen and a set of movements encoded into my brain boy. You know, been using a keyboard for a lot less time than a pen apparently. Even though we had like those computers with they were Macs actually. Now that I think about it, now that I go back in my brain and think about it, they were definitely Mac OS computers. They had the little the fucking closed program square, but they had that really stupid paint program, which was it wasn't stupid. It was like slightly better than MS Paint. It was slightly different. There were things you couldn't do, but it had like a texture flood fill, which was just everyone fucking wild for that. It had like a face. It had like a PNG, a GIF, a BMP stamp tool, and people would do outlines with these, you know, disgusting, you know, clip art stamps, and then flood fill it with like a black and white checkerboard. And apparently that was the shit. So it's absolutely loopy. Didn't learn anything about computers though. Big shame. Maybe they should have spent their time teaching us about computers instead of letting us mess around in MS Paint. It wasn't even MS Paint. Actually, big upgrade in Windows 10. I know they've got all the snooper software going on maximum overdrive, and you have to, geez, you have to go real deep into your PC to turn that stuff off. You can Google it. Google it if you want to know. I ain't telling you. I forgot. I did it. I said it. I forget it. You know what I'm saying? I want to go back into those menus again. Jesus. And it's like you get all these warnings like, hey, if you turn their shit off, yeah, your PC might not run so good. And it's like, yeah. That's fear mongering, bro. Don't do it, bro. Why do they have to anyway? What is Microsoft gonna sell me that I can't already just steal? I mean, what? Oh shit, is the dog barking? What's that noise? Woo! It was nothing. It was nothing. Wait, the read operator ignores white space? Okay. Thought it didn't. Wait, I'm skipping, I'm not even reading properly, slow down. Let me use the ignore white space reader input. Use getLine, okay. GetLine function takes an input stream and a string, good. Function reads the given stream up to and including the first new line, and stores what it read, not including the new line, in its string argument. After getLine sees a new line, even if it's the first character in the input, it stops reading and returns. The first character in the input is a new line, and the resulting string is empty. Like input, getLine returns iStream argument. As a result, we can use getLine as a condition. We can use the input operator as a condition. What? Can rewrite previous what? Because line does not contain a new line, we must write our own. What? Oh, line is the line is the variable we use to store the get line. Okay. Cool. Can skip over that. It's just explaining a bunch of the things. Here we go. Hang on. Any variable used to store the result from the string size operation should be of type string size type. Oh, but we can use auto declaration type as well to make that a little bit more streamlined. Okay, cool. Cool. Be careful when using signed and unsigned data. Good, good. Comparing strings is equal to and not equal to work. Strings are equal or unequal respectively. They're equal if they have the same length and the same type and the same characters. That's cool. Or you can use less than equal to, greater than equal to. They use the same strategy as a case-sensitive dictionary, okay? If two strings have different lengths, and if every character in the shortest string is equal to the corresponding string of the longest string, then the shorter string is less than the longer one. If any of the characters at the corresponding positions in the two strings differ, then the result of the string comparison is the result of comparing the first character at which the strings differ. What? No. What? Oh, right. Okay. So higher is greater than hello world because I is further down the alphabet than E. But hello is less than hello world because hello doesn't contain a space and a world. Cool. Adding two strings together. Cool. You can add strings together, and they just go into each other. When you mix string and string literal or character literal, at least one thing must be a string. The output is obviously going to be a string, not a string literal. Wait, oh, wait, what? Ah, I see. Yeah, because formulas work from left to right. String 6 is string plus string literal plus string literal. The string and string literal are added together first to make a string, quote unquote in brackets, and then added to the string literal to make another string. But in example 7, where you have a string literal plus a string literal plus a string, because it works from left to right, you have a string literal plus a string literal, which is a no-go. Although, let's be real, avoiding that in practice as best we can. Very cool. String 6 equals, yeah, good. Good. Yeah. I think let's go on to this because strings are easy peasy. Dealing with characters in a string. So string is defined in the standard at namespace. The functions for dealing with characters within strings are defined in the CC type header file. Cool. These are fairly self-explanatory. We got is all num alphanumeric, yes. Is alpha, is control, is digit, is graph, is slower, is print, is punct, is space, is upper, is x digit, hexadecimal, okay. To lower and to upper, which you can use for character manipulation, to lowercase or uppercase. That's cool. Advice: use the C++ versions of C library headers. Oh. Haha. So in C there's apparently a C-type header, well, which does the same thing, but CC-type header file is better for C++ programs. Okay, cool. Oh wow, yeah, that's real neat. So they've got this example code, and I don't know, we'll just put this at the end. Oh, we didn't even do any of that? Okay. Whatever. The hell is wrong with you, man? I know what's wrong with you. I'm an idiot. That's what's wrong with you. Type, right? And then we just, and it should. Ooh! What do you mean identify strings on undefined? What the fuck are you talking about? Hmm. There you go. It works perfectly. That's a beautiful function. Wagwan. It will be char. Yeah, good. somewhat more complicated example. We use a range for the isPunct function to count the number of punctuation characters in a string. That's cool. You can do that. Something you can do. 3 punctuation characters in hello world with 3 exclamation marks. Is this space punctuation? No. Hey, do you guys remember fingerspace? Bruh. Fingerspace. What the fuck? Who needs a space as wide as a fucking fingertip? Babies with no motor function, that's who. All babies. All a babu. Ooh, this is cool. Ah, dude. Dude. They've got a string. And they've got for auto and C. S. C equals 2 upper C. Dude, that is insane. Oh, so they've got a reference to each character in the string, and then you can change the characters. That is so cool. That is so cool. Uh-oh. We'll have more to say on iterators in 3.4. And we can use subscript. We can use subscript to access things in a string. Wow. I thought you couldn't. I thought it was illegal. I thought it was forbidden. But turns out you can, and that's cool. That is cool too. The values we use to subscript a string must be greater than or equal to 0 and less than size. Yep. Yes, they do. That's cool. So you can use the index or the thingy-majiggy, bajiggy, to do a thing. You can use the index to address individual characters. And here we've got a thing which checks if the index doesn't exceed the length of the string and doesn't hit a space. It converts the characters to uppercase. That's cool. That's real cool. Random access, yada yada yada. Nope, didn't want to do that. Whoops. It does it. This just needs to be on the other side of this. Nope. No, get the flip out of here. Not the flipper. Easy peasy. What would happen if you define the loop control variable in the previous exercise as top char? Predict results, then change your program to use a char and see what you write. What? The loop control variable in the previous exercise is type char. Nothing. Nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. Nothing would happen. You would just get wag-wan at the end. See? Because you're just changing C. I skipped the exercises for the last chapter. I don't know if you all noticed, but I did. I'm enjoying this one though. Rewrite the program of the first exercise using a while and again using a traditional for loop. I like the for loop. What does the following program do? Is it valid? If not, why not? String S. C out. S O. Endl. It's fine. It doesn't write anything. You initialize an empty string and then you see out undefined. So nothing would happen. For demonstration, is it F5 to run? Oh, there were errors. Uh-oh. What do you mean there was errors? More than one operator matches these operands. Let's just make a new string then. So I failed to uninitialize that one. See? Told you. Nothing. Big Zippo. Gives you an endl. You cannot assign a string null, apparently. So just jump for it. How do you unassign a string? Like I thought you'd just assign it a null, like you do with anything else to unassign it, like a pointer. I guess you could have a null pointer. You can't really have a null string, can you? It's just nothing. Shit. Write a program that reads a string of characters including punctuation and writes what was read but with the punctuation removed. Hold on. Is the following range for legal? If so, what is the type of C? Const string S equals keep out for auto and C S commented out. Oh, I guess they have some stuff. The following range is legal. The type is a constant reference to a character? No, it doesn't have to be a constant reference. But it is a reference to a constant character. You can't do anything with it. It's just a character reference, man. It's a character. Char const. It's char const and C. That's what auto would be, right? I don't want to try it in case I'm wrong. Anyway, write a program that reads a string of characters including punctuation and writes what was read but with the punctuation removed. This is going to be the thing. We'll have our oh no, it's hate babies, isn't it? Jesus. There we go. And then no. What? Scrolling all the way back up to that table at the start. Is punked. Can I if Is that... Wait, we don't have an iterator though. Like, I want to do like that. I don't think that's gonna work. Woo! String subscript out of range. Abort. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. No. Can't do that. But it did get to here. and then it turned into a potato. What about that? What about that? Yes! Yes! Get wrecked. Get absolutely potato wrecked. Look at that. Did you fucking see what I did there? And you can do the inverse operator of your is punked. Oh, fucking buzzing, mate. I think that was the last exercise too. Oh, it was. Library vector type is our next session. Hour and 35. Damn, I streamed a long time. But yeah, this is the end now. This is the end of today's stream. That's progress, mateys. I'm sure someone's going to come in to the comment section of YouTube and be like, actually, you've got like extra stuff you don't even need in there. But yeah, I like it. I mean, I do. I've got extra curly braces that you don't technically need, because if your if operator is only a single line of code, you don't need curly braces. But I use them anyway, because I like the look. I don't care what you know. Let me just quit Acrobat before I turn my phone off. I always have trouble with things saving my position if I just yeet them out of existence. Got some nice desk organizers actually recently. And there's just enough room to fit a mobile phone on top of them, between that and the shelf above. So yeah, that worked out real well. In fact, there was enough room for 2 of these organizers, but now I have no space for my my old Casio keyboard, so I don't know where I'm going to put those. Big shame. But yeah, I feel like we've made some good progress today, and this is the end of the stream. So thank you for tuning into the live video. If you tune into the live video, thank you for tuning into the VOD. If you tune into the VOD, and as always, I will see you in the next episode.